Welcome. Today, we're diving into the rich spiritual teachings of the Navajo people, or Dene, specifically their powerful connection to the four sacred mountains. These mountains, Mount Blanca in the east, Mount Taylor in the south, San Francisco Peaks in the west, and Mount Hesperus in the north aren't just geographical landmarks. To the Navajo, they symbolize life itself, protection, wisdom, and the harmony essential for balance in the world. Through their prophecy, the Navajo people share profound insights, warning of the consequences if this balance is disrupted. They teach us about the importance of respecting natural boundaries, preserving cultural wisdom, and living in harmony with the earth. In a world facing climate crises and social upheaval, these teachings have never been more relevant. Join us as we explore the meaning of these four sacred mountains, uncover the wisdom they hold, and see how the Navajo prophecy can inspire us all toward a path of unity, sustainability, and respect for the earth. Let's begin this journey into the heart of Navajo wisdom. The teachings of the Navajo people, or Dene, surrounding the four sacred mountains form a cornerstone of their cultural and spiritual worldview. These mountains, Mount Blanca to the east, Mount Taylor to the south, San Francisco Peaks to the west, and Mount Hesperus to the north represent the traditional boundaries of Navajo territory and are seen as sacred guardians of their homeland. According to Navajo beliefs, these mountains embody essential principles of protection, stability, and harmony, serving as reminders to stay rooted in traditional values. Navajo prophecies connected to the four sacred mountains warn that disrupting this harmony and straying from these values can lead to environmental degradation, social upheaval, and spiritual disconnection. This report explores the origins and significance of the four sacred mountains, the meaning of the associated prophecies, and the relevance of these teachings to contemporary issues of environmental stewardship and cultural preservation. The four sacred mountains are integral to the Dene worldview, representing not only geographical markers but also spiritual boundaries that safeguard the Navajo homeland. Each mountain has its own associated color, direction, and symbolic meaning. Located to the east, Mount Blanca is associated with the color white and represents the beginning of life, dawn, and guidance. It symbolizes the start of each day and of the Navajo journey, encouraging the Dene to look toward the future with hope and respect. To the south, Mount Taylor is linked with the color blue and represents the idea of childhood, growth, and learning. It symbolizes adaptability and resilience, qualities necessary for personal and communal development. Situated to the west, San Francisco Peaks are associated with the color yellow, symbolizing adulthood, responsibility, and completion. It represents maturity and the knowledge needed to uphold traditions and maintain the well-being of the community. Located to the north, Mount Hesperus is linked with the color black and represents old age, wisdom, and introspection. It embodies the end of life, reminding the Navajo to reflect on their journey and to respect the cycle of life. Together, these mountains create a spiritual boundary within which the Dene can live in harmony, connected to their land and traditions. Navajo teachings emphasize that these mountains protect the people, and in turn, the people have a duty to protect and respect the mountains, staying within the boundaries of their ancestral homeland both physically and spiritually. The four sacred mountains are more than geographical markers. They are deeply symbolic, representing foundational Navajo values and a way of life that prioritizes balance and harmony with nature. Each mountain embodies aspects of the Dene philosophy known as Hózhó, which translates to beauty, balance, and harmony. Hózhó is not only an aesthetic ideal but a way of life, a mindset that encourages positive interactions with people, animals, and the environment. The mountains remind the Navajo to live according to Hózhó, respecting the natural world and maintaining their spiritual and cultural practices. The Navajo also believe that the mountains offer protection. Traditionally, Navajo people view their homeland as a sacred space that is both a source of physical sustenance and spiritual strength. The mountains form a protective boundary, not in a restrictive sense, but as a source of guidance, helping the Navajo remember where they come from and who they are. Navajo ceremonies and teachings often emphasize the importance of living within this sacred space and upholding the traditions that have been passed down for generations. Navajo prophecies associated with the four sacred mountains caution that if the balance and harmony within this sacred boundary are disrupted, the consequences will be severe. The mountains represent stability and continuity. If their sanctity is compromised, it can lead to environmental crises, social disorder, and spiritual disorientation. Some of the central warnings in the prophecies include: the Navajo prophecies warn that disrespecting or failing to honor the sacred boundaries will result in environmental destruction. Over-extraction of resources, pollution, and disregard for the mountains and their ecosystems are seen as actions that disrupt the natural order and can cause droughts, food scarcity, and other environmental issues that directly impact the people. Straying from traditional values can lead to a loss of identity, division, and societal instability. Navajo teachings stress the importance of staying connected to one's roots and cultural practices. If these values are abandoned, it creates disunity within the community, leading to confusion, loss of purpose, and weakened social structures. The prophecies speak to the risk of losing spiritual connection to the land, to each other, and to the Creator if traditional practices and respect for the four sacred mountains are disregarded. Such disconnection can manifest in feelings of emptiness, loss of meaning, and a lack of fulfillment, both personally and communally. The prophecy emphasizes the importance of a return to traditional ways as a means of restoring balance. The teachings of the four sacred mountains remind the Dene to uphold their ceremonies, language, and values, to honor the wisdom of elders, and to educate the younger generation in the ways of Hózhó. In recent years, the teachings of the four sacred mountains have resonated as a call to protect both the environment and cultural heritage. The Navajo, like many indigenous peoples, face significant environmental threats, including mining, deforestation, and water scarcity, that encroach upon sacred land. These threats have not only harmed the land, but also pose a risk to cultural practices that are deeply intertwined with the natural world. Modern environmental challenges reinforce the prophetic warning that straying from traditional values will lead to hardship. Activists and leaders within the Navajo community emphasize the importance of protecting the sacred mountains from exploitation and encroachment, advocating for sustainable practices that align with the principle of Hózhó. The prophecy's emphasis on maintaining harmony within the boundaries of the four sacred mountains speaks to the larger issue of indigenous sovereignty and the right to self-determination. Many indigenous leaders view environmental protection and cultural preservation as inseparable. They argue that protecting sacred land and respecting traditional values is essential not only for the health of the Navajo community, but for the well-being of the earth as a whole. The Navajo teachings and prophecies surrounding the four sacred mountains have a global resonance, particularly in the context of climate change and environmental degradation. The emphasis on balance, respect for nature, and harmony within one's environment reflects universal values that resonate with contemporary environmental movements worldwide. These teachings remind people of the importance of maintaining a respectful relationship with the earth and the need for sustainable practices. As climate crises escalate and the loss of biodiversity accelerates, the prophecy's warning about environmental upheaval feels particularly relevant. Many indigenous communities, including the Navajo, are among the first to experience the impacts of climate change, as they depend on their local environments for sustenance and cultural practices. This reality reinforces the urgency of the prophecy, reminding people of the interconnectedness of all life and the need to act as stewards of the earth. The Four Sacred Mountains prophecy is more than a warning. It is also a guide for how to live in alignment with nature. By prioritizing the values of balance, respect, and harmony, humanity can begin to address environmental and social crises. Here are some lessons that can be drawn from the prophecy. Preserving indigenous cultures, languages, and traditions is vital not only for the communities they belong to but for the broader human family. Indigenous knowledge systems hold valuable insights into sustainable living and environmental stewardship, which are increasingly relevant in today's world. The prophecy calls for the respect of natural boundaries, advocating against the overuse of resources and environmental exploitation. This message encourages modern society to adopt sustainable practices and recognize the Earth's limits. The prophecy emphasizes the importance of passing down knowledge and values from one generation to the next. In Navajo culture, elders are revered as bearers of wisdom, and younger generations are encouraged to learn from them to preserve their heritage. The four sacred mountains symbolize protection and stability. By maintaining unity within the community and upholding shared values, people can build resilient societies that are better equipped to face challenges. The prophecy of the four sacred mountains reminds humanity of the importance of harmony, balance, and respect for the earth. As environmental and social challenges intensify, the teachings of the Navajo offer a framework for living in a way that honors the natural world and upholds cultural values. By embracing these lessons, people can work to restore balance, protect sacred places, and promote a sustainable future. In respecting and preserving the four sacred mountains, the Navajo safeguard not only their cultural heritage, but also contribute to a broader vision of environmental stewardship and spiritual integrity. The prophecy is both a caution and a call to action, urging people to live in a way that honors the interconnectedness of all life and respects the wisdom of the earth. These teachings of the four sacred mountains offer us timeless wisdom, a reminder that balance, respect, and harmony are the foundation of a meaningful life. As we face growing challenges in our world, may we draw inspiration from these principles, cherishing the earth, preserving our traditions, and uniting with purpose. The path forward calls for both humility and courage. Together, let's honor these lessons and walk toward a future where all can thrive in harmony. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, the strength of the mountains is within us all.